Good morning. Will I call to order the meeting of the Philadelphia City Commissioners Board of Elections for Wednesday, October the 16th, 2024. This meeting is in compliance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. The Philadelphia City Commissioners are a three-member bipartisan board of elected officials in charge of elections and voter registration for the city of Philadelphia. Each commissioner is elected to serve a four-year term that coincides with the municipal election cycle for mayor and city council. The commissioners set and enforce departmental policies to administer voter registration and conduct elections in accordance with federal and state voter registration and election laws. The city commissioners were created by the Pennsylvania Assembly in 1711 with a focus on taxation and held various regulatory powers throughout the centuries. The commissioners started maintaining voter lists in 1799 and took on more election-related responsibility, but didn't emerge into its current form until the adoption of Philadelphia's Home Rule Charter in 1951. We will start off with public comments. Before beginning their comments, commenters shall state where they live or if they are not a resident of Philadelphia and that they are a Philadelphia taxpayer. Public comment is not an opportunity for dialogue or Q&A. It is public comment, a chance for you to tell us what you think. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to speak. However, I may extend the time at my discretion. Public comment must concern matters on today's meeting agenda. Finally, it is my responsibility to preserve the order and decorum of the meetings. As such, profane, slanderous, discriminatory, personal attacks will not be tolerated. If you wish to make a public objection to a perceived sunshine violation, please raise your hand and I will recognize you. Outbursts will not be tolerated. Anyone wishing to offer to public comment, please step forward. Hearing none, we will now move to a report. Secretary Bluestein, are there any public comments? Email?
There were no emailed public comments by 9:45 a.m.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now proceed to old business. We have a report from our Directors of Election and Administration, Mr. Joseph Lynch and Ms. Stephanie Reid. Joe, we'll start off with you.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, John.
This is our Sunshine Report for October 16, 2024. The warehouse unit has been working to prepare machines for the general election. For our voter registration report, the election cycle to date, they have processed 390,713 voter registration applications. 206,500 of those applications were paper. As of right now, they have a backlog of 5,300 applications. Delaware and Spring Garden is working to eliminate the backlog and making necessary corrections. Just a note, Monday, October 21st, 2024 is the last day to register to vote. Delaware and Spring Garden will be open until midnight to accommodate the deadline. As of Tuesday, we have approved 182,305 vote by mail and absentee applications, which is 12,849 added from last week's total. Of those, 93,569 are paper applications and 88,736 are electronic applications. This includes military, civilian overseas, and federal voters. We currently have a total of 2,029 applications waiting to be processed. Of those, 350 are paper applications and 1,679 are electronic applications. As of October 14th, we have sent out 178,467 vote-by-mail ballots for the 2024 general election. Voters who have not yet received their ballot or need a replacement can visit our website to request a replacement ballot or visit one of our satellite offices for assistance. ID verification letters have gone out to voters that either did not include the required proof of identification on their absentee/mail-in ballot applications, or their proof of identification could not be verified by the County Board of Elections office. Voters who have received this letter may submit their proof of ID to the County Board of Elections via email at philly.election@phila.gov, fax, U.S. mail, telephone, or in person. Voters have until 5 p.m. on November 12th to return their proof of identification for the general election. Our satellite office at City Hall, Room 140, is now open. The voters can request a mail-in or a replacement ballot in person and return it all in the same visit. Office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 4. Voters who would like to vote by mail for the November 5th general election can apply for a mail-in or absentee ballot at vote.phila.gov. The deadline to apply is Tuesday, October 29th at 5 p.m. The Election Board unit is working to confirming board workers through calls and emails. They have confirmed 8,003 so far, but 557 had declined, and they've left 297 voicemails. In the general election training sessions, 2,442 board workers attended and 2,210 confirmed for schedule and training. We are thrilled to share that all 10 satellite offices are open to the public. The District 7 office located in the Mayfair Shopping Center opened yesterday morning. Media, elected officials, and community organizations attended the grand opening. Voters can visit any site, no matter where they live in the city, and we are open to the public 7 days a week until Election Day. You can find a list of satellite election offices, hours, and services on our website at vote.phila.gov. Thank you. That's all I have.
Vice Chair. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have no questions, but just for the record, Joe, you misspoke. It was satellite election 6.
Did I say-
District
what did I
6.
say?
You said 7.
My Lord.
Just for the
Sorry.
record. Just
Strike
for the-
that.
Just
Satellite
for the
6.
record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Secretary Bluestein, do you have any questions?
I have none, thank you.
I'd like to say thank you. I know there was a lot of people who were saying that we couldn't do this. We got through it. I've been working tirelessly, and I was actually praying that we got these open, and we actually got them open. And Councilman Driscoll actually, he had a Bible scripture. He said that the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And so, it just really brought everything back together. We still have a lot of work to do. We have to let our constituents know what those satellite offices do, and if we want to get the participation up there. So that's our next project. Stephanie?
No problem. Good morning. I'm pleased to address you today and share updates from our administration report for October 16th, 2024. This past week, with only 3 weeks to go, we continued our preparations for the general election. In our budget and procurement department, the team has been focused on the normal processing of invoices and purchase orders, addressing any related issues as they arise. We're working with procurement to get our final orders approved for the general election. In communications, we've been designing requested materials, including social media graphics, updated poll worker documents, and signage for the warehouse and City Hall. Requested updates were also completed for language access materials, the department's Atlas tool, and one-pagers for our satellite election offices. Additionally, we have been planning for general election communications, including sessions with our consultants and providing input for the paid media campaign. Regarding engagement, we're distributing materials at Independence Library, Oregon Market, and First Oriental Market. Our efforts also involve sharing flyers for poll workers and interpreters, encouraging voter registration, recruiting bilingual interpreters, and engaging with the community through feedback and questions at events. We continue identifying hair salons, temples, or churches where we can distribute election materials. I think there might be a mistake at the end of this. I need to double check the number of events we're scheduled for. I think it's 2. In human resources, our total workforce stands at 224 employees, with 189 in civil service and 35 exempt. This includes 56 clerk 1s, 33 clerk 2s, 17 clerk 3s, 9 trades helpers, 9 voting machine techs, and 44 temps. We're continuing with new hire activities and preparing for upcoming orientations. Our IT team completed setting up all IT components for our last 2 satellite election offices. They've been updating surveys and sign-up forms, posting notices, and maintaining our website. They've also been working on the call center, asset retrieval center, and poll worker dashboard. The team has finished new phone setup with the help of surge staffing from the city. And one note here is that the Shepard Rec Dropbox is still down, and that is, I think, IT related. It's not anything that's our fault, but the entire power is out at Shepard Rec.
It's up.
It's up now? Okay, well, never mind. Update, it's up. So that's good.
I'm sorry. We found out that it went up last night, so we had somebody go out and open it up.
Great. All right.
Okay, and were you finished? I'm sorry.
Just one more thing. With 3 weeks until the general election, our staff's done a wonderful job preparing and solving challenges as they arise. I'd like to thank them for their ongoing commitment and hard work. And I'd also like to thank OIT for their support as we've worked together to troubleshoot, and they provided specialized support staffing to help our IT unit.
Okay,
I'm
thank
finished
you. Vice Chair Deeley, did you have any questions?
Thank you, I have none.
Secretary?
Thank you, I have none.
I just want to go back, I guess, with the drop boxes. Now, is the communications together between them and the website, or like what's up or not up? Because I know it's like another page to the website.
Yeah, you know what that was?
Okay,
So
okay, good.
that was, it was a news item, and this is something Jovi and I have talked about. It's
Okay.
really frustrating when we put, it's frustrating when we put the details in a news item. What we need to do moving forward is link back to the main page. Because what happens then is when people search, they can find an old news item, and it was one that was missed. He did update it, but he and I talked about, as soon as we get through this election, really thinking about where we put things, how they link back, so that we don't have multiple places where information is stored.
So there's no possible way we could change that for this election? There's no possible way?
Well, we did update that one. It is
Okay,
updated.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just make sure that we do the updates
We did.
on that backside. That's
Yep, we did, for sure.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate y'all both.
Of course.
We will now proceed to new business. We will begin considering our first agenda item, Vice Chair Deeley's motion. Vice Chair Deeley, did you want to make a statement before you put your motion in, or you just wanted to put your?
Yes, Mr. Chair, a few brief comments before I put my motion up.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
So just a quick history lesson. When the pandemic hit in 2020 and the number of mail ballots requests skyrocketed, the Department of State recommended that we purchase these envelope grinders to open all the mail. We brought 2 of them. But when it came time to use them, they really weren't that effective. They only cut 1 of the 4 sides, so it's not quick to get the contents out. But worse, they damaged several thousand ballots. Let me repeat, the grinders damaged several thousand ballots in the 2020 primary election. These ballots needed to be hand recreated one at a time, with full transparency for the observers. It took a good amount of time. Afterwards, finding a solution to the envelope opening problem was one of our top priorities. We traveled the country during the pandemic. We also called jurisdictions that vote almost exclusively by mail. What we found out is that they all use the extraction desks, all of them. Nobody mentioned grinders, so we bought extraction desks. They are not outdated equipment. Now, things with them haven't been perfect. I think it was the second election where we had to get the service techs out here because they were damaging the ballots. But we got them on the right maintenance schedule, and since then, they have worked great. Now they move at the speed of the operator. Faster operators will extract more ballots than slower ones. And I know that in the past, we have sometimes used the grinders on a small scale to help out. Now, I know there has been talk about juicing this year's process by purchasing additional grinders and using them on the secrecy envelopes. And I know that Allegheny County uses grinders, but in my opinion, we are not in a race against Allegheny County. This is a serious election, not a race. It would be just immature to try and race another county. They have their way of doing things for their unique circumstances, and we have ours for our unique circumstances. We have already made a lot of changes leading up to this year that will make the count take much less time than it did in 2020. Namely implementing electronic poll books, which means it's not going to be days anymore. We do not need to take unnecessary risks. We will get people clarity in a reasonable time frame. I know that I have said no changes in the presidential election, and I know that the chairman has delivered that message to everyone numerous times. No changes. So I am perplexed as to why we would think about changing something about the canvas. Maybe everything goes well. Maybe these newly purchased grinders that have never been used before or tested at scale will work great. Maybe they do not damage any ballots. Maybe they speed things up a little bit, in which case everyone just forgets that I made this motion. But this is not the election for maybe, because maybe the grinders again damage a couple thousand ballots like in 2020 in the primary. Maybe the presidential race comes down to a couple thousand votes. If that's the case, those will be the most watched and anticipated ballot recreations in the history of the world. That is after the lawsuits over them have finished. I do not want to risk that. If we have new ideas on how to do things more efficiently, then let's try it out next year in the controller DA race when the people of Denmark don't care about the outcome. So for the sake of peace of mind, I motion that the staff only utilize the extraction desks on or hand letter openers for the opening of declaration and secrecy envelopes, and do not utilize grinders unless there is a significant mechanical issue that arises with the extraction desks. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary, did you want to make a comment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized, please?
Yes, you may.
First, I just want to thank the deputy commissioners and the staff for being innovative in trying to find ways to speed up our processing times when it comes to the canvas. And this is not about being in a race with another county. It is about knowing that the world is looking to find out when the results will be known in Pennsylvania and in Philadelphia in particular. We know that the window of time from when the polls close to when the race is called is when there's the greatest risk for mis and disinformation and harassment and threats to our workers. The technology under consideration today was a godsend for our department when in the 2020 primary we needed to open 175,000 mail ballots and we needed to use them and get it done quickly. Also, when the extraction desks did damage ballots, over 4,000 of them, in the 2021 primary, we rushed the grinders up here to use them to finish the job. Now, the grinders that were just purchased have already been tested. We have some of the test material here, and you can see that they did not damage any of the ballots. And the reason for that is it's not about which extraction desk or grinder that we use. It is about how long the ballot is and how it is folded. And when it sits in the envelope properly, as these ones clearly do, because it's a smaller ballot, there is very little risk for them being cut when they're being opened. And the risk doesn't change whether it's the extraction desks or the grinders. That risk is the same. So, I would be remiss in not using a technology that can open potentially 40,000 envelopes an hour as opposed to the extraction desks, which can only open 3,600 envelopes an hour. So for that reason, I do think we should utilize both the extraction desks on the outer envelopes and then use the secrecy, the grinders on the secrecy envelopes as the professional staff have recommended. Thank you.
Real quick, Joe, could I call you back up, Joe?
Sure.
So, Joe, you done tests on these grinders.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little about it. Did you just order them, or did you talk to like Allegheny County? Did you talk to other?
No, I didn't talk to any other county. I don't need to talk to any other county. I just thought that it would be better to have them because there's kind of like a choke point when it comes to opening up the declaration envelopes at the tables. So I figured if we put one at each at the end of each station, we'd be able to open these quicker, the declaration envelopes.
Now, how long?
And I ran tests yesterday, and they came out fine.
And so, just for the record's sake, so how long you been running elections or an election?
Well, I've been here 28 years.
So in 28 years, you think that this is a good idea for us to open it up in this election?
Yes, I do. I do.
Thank
Those
you.
machines are awesome. They really are.
Thank you, Joe.
But I understand what the commissioner's saying, but, I mean, I wouldn't jeopardize the election if I didn't think this would work. So,
You wanted to add some stuff? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Sure.
I'm questioning the 40,000 number since the ballots are batched up, and we're not going to be running 40,000 at one time, so.
The numbers are directly from OPEX's website for how fast the equipment can be used. It's no different than saying that in theory, the extraction desks can handle up to 3,600 per hour, but as you said in your statement, it depends on the user. And in fact, it never opens 3,600 per hour. And in our experience over the last 4 years, each extraction desk probably maxes out at about 900 per hour in real world use. So yes, in the real world, it won't hit 40,000 per hour, the same way the extraction desks don't hit 3,600 per hour.
Okay, I mean, I guess my statement, I guess, is that I don't want this board to risk accuracy over speed. However, the longer we keep the canvas going, that's a threat to our life. In 2020, that little short window, it put all our election board workers, in my opinion, life at stake, keeping it going longer. And if we have an opportunity, and we do have a recommendation from someone who has done elections for 28 years, and they feel, is confident that this is going to work. Other counties use the same machine, same equipment, and they do it faster. But I just wanted to say, everybody, too, I understand your position, Vice Chair Deeley, and I know it's in the best interest of the board, and I do. But so I know you made I know we just all made statements, but for the record, I don't know if I clearly heard your actual motion.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay.
So, for the sake of peace of mind, I motion that the staff only utilize the extraction desks or hand letter openers for the opening of declaration and secrecy envelopes, and do not utilize grinders unless there is a significant mechanical issue that arises with the extraction desks.
Is there a second? Hearing no second, this motion does not pass. We will now move to the next agenda item, polling place changes. We will hear from Polling Place Investigation Supervisor Charlie Stroman.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have 5 proposals for change. The first one will be in the 9th Ward, the 17th Division, moving out of Chestnut Hill Towers to the Chestnut Hill Friends meeting, and that is due to a refusal.
Having heard the recommendation of the professional staff, I move that we accept the polling place change for Ward 9, Division 17. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments before we proceed to vote?
I have none.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Please proceed.
Next one will be in the 10th Ward, the 23rd Division, moving out of the storefront at 7163 Stanton Avenue to the Congregation Temple Bethel, 7350 Lober Avenue, and that is back to the original location.
Having heard the recommendation of the professional staff, I move that we accept the polling place change for Ward 10, Division 23. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any comments before we vote?
I have none.
I have none.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Please proceed.
Next one will be in the 19th Ward, the 1st Division, moving out of Cognitive Behavioral Health to the Children's Playhouse, and that is due to a refusal.
Having heard the recommendation of the professional staff, I move that we accept the polling place change for Ward 19, Division 1. Is there a second?
Second.
Does anyone have any comment before we vote?
I have none.
I have none.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Please proceed.
Next one will be in the 21st Ward, the 24th Division, moving out of Roxborough Memorial Hospital to the Lingelbach School, and that is due to overcrowding.
Having heard the recommendation of the professional staff, I move that we accept the polling place change for Ward 21, Division 24. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments before we vote?
I have none.
I have none.
Secretary is it? Oh, Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Please proceed.
Next one is in the 25th Ward, the 14th Division, moving out of Community Center of Visitation to the NKCDC Suite Number 1, 2771 Roof Street, and that is moving into the ward and into its own division.
Having heard the recommendation of the professional staff, I move that we accept the polling place change for Ward 25, Division 14. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments before we vote?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I may. Charlie, thank you so much. It was a last-minute change, and I think it's better for the voters, so thank you for your work you did
You're welcome.
at the very last minute. I appreciate you always taking my call and getting
Thank
that
you.
done. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary,
I have no comments. Thank you.
please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. That's it, Charlie?
That's all I have.
Cool. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate you as always.
You're welcome.
Okay. That was our last agenda item. Is there any business that needs to be raised at this meeting that was not on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I would just like to say that yesterday, I had launched a campaign to educate and inform voters about the need to recognize the importance of voting down the ballot. Certainly, we know everybody's watching and thinking about the presidential election, and it is absolutely important because that will affect the whole world. But there are other races on the ballot that affect people's everyday lives. So we're taking this opportunity to inform and educate folks on the importance of voting down the ballot. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Secretary, did you have anything?
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Okay. A motion that we adjourn this meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. This meeting's adjourned.